Welcome back to Brawlers Broadcast. I am Vikhyat and that's my friend Ritik, and we bring to you the review of UFC 301, the main event and the co-main event. First of all, very underwhelming after what UFC 300 did, Ritik. I think we can agree to
Absolutely,
that.
absolutely, man.
But let's be real, I genuinely liked both the main events and the co-main events for very different reasons, and we'll get into the skin of it. But
Hmm.
what's your general reaction to the card, bro?
Well, honestly, yeah, obviously, भाई 300 के comparison में तो कुछ भी नहीं था 301 and I'm sure most people, most casual fans didn't even know who Steve Erceg was before the fight got announced. So I get it. I mean, ठीक है, but लेकिन the card itself, I thought the fights were really good, man. Like from the bottom to top, सब कुछ top to bottom, every single fight was really good, especially on the main card. तो मतलब मैं तो
Yeah.
काफ़ी एज अ फैन लाइक एज समवन हु जस्ट वॉचेस यूएफसी एवरी वीक आई थॉट इट वाज अ स्पेक्टेकुलर कार्ड मैन लाइक काफ़ी अच्छा था वेरी गुड फाइट्स
So what's your rating out of 10 to the card?
वेल इफ आई हैड टू रेट इट आउट ऑफ 10 आई मीन since we're going to rate 300 as 10 out of 10 I believe we'll have to vote it like 7.5 I guess 7.5 maybe yeah somewhere
I
between 7.5 and 8
I agree.
hmm
7.5 is a fair rating. I
yeah
would put it just about there as well. But
yep
ठीक है यार. I mean, let's move beyond these numbers and
mm-hmm.
address the real magical number 37.
Yep
Right? Uh, Jose Aldo. This guy retired 1.5 years ago.
hmm
Nobody on earth can convince me that this guy was not training at least 3 to 4 times a week, because that is how amazing he looked. That is how good, crisp. I don't know. You can use all sorts of adjectives that you want to,
for
but
sure
that guy showed levels to a guy who's 7 years younger to him. I mean, take the stage. Tell us about the fight. You were all praises for Aldo. I already know about
yeah
it.
man
Take it away.
भाई मेरे हिसाब से तो यार पहली बात मेरे को सबसे ज़्यादा इम्प्रेसिव चीज़ ये लगी कि एवरीथिंग दैट ही वॉज बिफोर रिटायरिंग एंड ही ऑल्सो हैड अ बॉक्सिंग मैच इन बिटवीन ठीक है मतलब उसने बीच में
Yeah,
बॉक्सिंग मैच भी की भाई ने ही वेंट बॉक्सिंग एंड यू नो व्हाट हैपेंस यूजुअली व्हेन पीपल गो टू बॉक्स व्हेन एमएमए फाइटर्स go to boxing like they forget how to kick and check kicks the stance is all
yeah.
fucked up पूरा उनका मतलब एमएमए फाइटर वाली चीज़ चली जाती है उनकी वी टॉक्ड अबाउट कॉर्नर इन द पास्ट उसके साथ भी ऐसा हुआ था बट होजे आल्डो ही जस्ट लुक लाइक his best self at bantamweight. मतलब the best bantamweight that we had seen uh, from Jose Aldo, like he was still that in the last fight, and he checked all the kicks. Obviously, Jonathan Martinez, great kicker, probably the best kicker in the division, and
Yeah.
she just made him look like an amateur, Jose. I mean, ऐसा लग ही नहीं रहा कि था कि दोनों एक ही साथ केज में बिलोंग भी करते हैं. सो इट वॉज एन इंसेन विन बट एज यू सेड कि भाई उस बंदे ने मतलब ऐसा लड़ा कि ऐसा लग ही नहीं रहा था कि ही हैव स्टॉप ट्रेनिंग दैट्स द मोस्ट amusing thing to me. What did you think, man?
He was unranked. Now he fought a guy who's 12th in the division, and he took it away. Let's be very real. Aldo is the best, one of the best leg kickers in MMA, one of the best leg kick defenders in all of MMA,
Easily.
and his range is very good. Martinez had nothing on him. I think apart from this grappling, nothing really happened. Aldo took him down with a good high crotch takedown in the last round. We could clearly see the difference in that as well. That just leaves one particular space fighting in the pocket, and Aldo is far superior to
He's got the
Martinez
best.
in that.
I think after Piotr Jan, he's got the best boxing in the division, like easily.
He definitely has. Let's be real, bro. I mean, round two just showed you how good his boxing was. Martinez was gaining some momentum. I get
So
it.
good.
But then he started landing these straight rights down the middle, and Martinez could actually feel that shit.
Truly,
His
man.
eyes were wide open. I saw it, and I can
I,
praise this guy all day, man. I can really praise this guy all day. And round three and round one were really clean sweeps for him. He
yeah,
was
for
he
sure,
was
for
that
sure.
fucking.
It's just
Yeah,
man I just think भाई इसकी बॉक्सिंग इतनी ज़्यादा एलीट है होजे आल्डो की एंड इट वाज गुड इन द पास्ट ऑल्सो एट फेदर वेट ऑल्सो बट एवर सिंस ही मूव डाउन टू बैंटम वेट ही हैज़ सॉर्ट ऑफ चेंज हिज स्टाइल अ बिट लाइक ही इज़ मोर ऑफ अ हायर गार्ड गाय लाइक उसका गार्ड एकदम ही
yeah,
ऊपर रहेगा एंड His kicking game has changed a bit compared to what it was in the past. At featherweight, he used to spam kicks, man. Like he used to be an insane kicker. But at bantamweight, since he developed more of a boxing stance, he didn't kick as often as he used to. So again, मतलब अभी भी मेरे हिसाब से भाई द मेन डिफरेंस दोनों में होनाथन मार्टिनेज एंड होजे आल्डो में वाज द डिफरेंस इन देयर बॉक्सिंग स्किल्स बॉक्सिंग की में तो डिफरेंस था उसी वजह से होजे आल्डो जीता एंड अगेन मैन व्हेन इट कम्स टू स्ट्राइकिंग ब्रो स्ट्राइकिंग इज लाइक not even comparable when it comes to pure striking. I think Jose Aldo is just top 3 maybe. Pure Ryan and Sean is right up there with both the guys.
I, I completely agree. And let's be real, for a guy who's 7 years younger to Aldo, and Aldo's 37, man, this of all the sports is not an old man's sport at all.
For sure.
Aldo looked far faster, far superior. The technique was on point. I mean, can't possibly take out any loopholes in how he fought.
True.
He was that fucking.
Absolutely, man.
So, what do you think? Okay,
Hmm.
um, I'll
I'll,
throw a
I
few names.
Okay.
Umar Nurmagomedov is nice. He's
Hmm.
going to fight Sandhagen,
Hmm.
about which we'll obviously talk later.
Hmm.
Rob Font is on a losing streak. He's moved down 3 spots. You
Hmm.
have Davison Figueredo, Henry Cejudo, Tito Vera, whom I believe Jose Aldo has already beaten.
Hmm.
So, who out of these guys do you think is fighting? Because I'm talking about the top 8 now. I think that's a reasonable place to start from.
So okay, let's see. He's already fought these guys, right? He's fought Rob Font, he's fought Marlon Vera, he's fought
Yeah,
Piorian. Cheeto has called him out again. He
yeah.
said he's up for a rematch. I would love to see that fight, man. Like that would be an insane fight. I don't want to see Aldo fight Piorian because I just think it's going to be the same as what
Understandable.
happened in the first fight. Uh,
Yeah,
what's very interesting to me is Davison Figueiredo and one more guy,
yeah. Young
Henry
but
Cejudo. I'm not sure if he's going to fight Davison Figueiredo because they're both Brazilians, but I don't think they're even in the same camp or they don't have any. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they're like friends or what. If they have ever trained in the past. What's weird though is that they're pretty much the same age. Although
yeah.
Figueiredo hasn't even had like half the number of fights that Jose has had. But yeah, they're pretty much the same age. But yeah, I mean, again, I think the biggest fight, in my opinion, the best possible fight would be if Henry Cejudo is up for it. I think Henry Cejudo versus Jose Aldo is the perfect fight because we know for a fact that Henry is still good. He's not like, let's be real, he's
Yeah.
not bad, right? I mean, he's had the last 2 fights that he had were against arguably the best bantamweights they were at that point in time. Like Aljamain Sterling was the best bantamweight back then, and Mirab, arguable people you can argue that he's the best bantamweight right now, if not or up there with Sean O'Malley. So I think Henry Cejudo versus Jose Aldo is an insane fight, all things considered, legacy, etc. So yeah.
Cool. I agree with that. I mean, that would make a good matchup. But to just close it out, I would also say that just in terms of a good striking match, because of how good Aldo looked from a striking standpoint right now,
Yep.
the Davis and Figueroa fight appeals to me a lot.
Yep.
Age factor
Absolutely.
nullifies, and obviously both would love to strike. So for me, I think that's a more exciting fight. Obviously, it's
Maybe.
a
Yeah, yeah.
Brazilian versus Brazilian,
Absolutely. Yeah,
but
I agree.
I would love to see that fight. That's my personal preference.
Mm-hmm.
But I think personal preference, a lot of people would also end up saying ruined yesterday's main event, right?
Okay.
Because a lot of people have been calling out judges, taking a shit on the judges, and saying the scoring was off. My
Mm-hmm.
personal opinion is this: that the fight was really good. I
Hmm.
really enjoyed all 5 rounds of the fight,
Oh,
irrespective of
absolutely.
how it was, right?
Absolutely.
So, what do you think? Did you see something different in the fight? क्या
Hmm.
लग रहा था fight से पहले, fight के बाद क्या लग रहा था?
Hmm.
Scoring, anything, man.
So let me get one thing out of the way, real quick. The guys that are saying Pantoja is a boring fighter, I mean, please shut the fuck up. Guys, come on. Like, he's not a boring fighter. Like, I mean, if anything, he makes grappling sequences look interesting. Like, if you've ever seen him, like, I'm sure, I mean, you have seen him fight, but the casual audience that think that he's a boring fighter, just watch his fights, watch all of his fights. What does he do? Is he like trying to get a hold of you every single time? No, he's not. Like he just mixes it up so well. I don't think there's any fighter in the UFC who mixes it up as well as Pantoja does. He'll spam strikes to your head. He'll go to your body. He'll spam kicks to your legs, to your calf, inside kicks, outside kicks. Like he's going to spam all of them, and then he'll then he proceeds to take you down or like to change levels. So I think Pantoja is a really exciting fighter. I mean, he's a very fun fighter to watch. He makes grappling look really fun. Unlike some other fighters who just lay and pray, he does not do that. He's always trying to get into, trying to advance to better positions in order to get the submission. It's just that Steve Erceg was really that good, man. I don't think people
Yeah, he was
realize it. I
very
don't think people realize it. For a guy that was ranked number 10 with no experience, with only two fights in the UFC, with only a little over 1 year he's been in the UFC, to fight
yeah,
arguably the second greatest flyweight of all time after Demetrius Johnson.
yeah,
I mean, come on. And to put on that type of a performance, look, going into the fight, we all knew that Erceg was going to be the far superior boxer. Like when it comes to
yeah.
boxing, like you could argue he's probably the best boxer in the division. Like he is so good. Like his counters, even some of his elbows, which obviously not related to boxing, but like he caught Pantoja coming in so many times with his elbows, sliced him up
Yeah,
like
man, those
real
elbows were
good.
money, man.
Yeah, for sure. Like so, in terms of like pure striking boxing, I think Erceg is really good, and that's what people. That's why a lot of people thought he could have a chance against Pantoja, because Pantoja gets hit a lot. Like he takes a lot of damage in every single fight. There's no fight where he gets out of clean, right? Like so.
Yeah,
Again, what most people did think was that the experience, the cardio, and the grappling difference would favor Pantoja, and that's what happened for the most part. But I have to say this one thing. I know we're a little over time right now, but like I've got to say this, and I need to take this off my chest right now, because people need to understand that I'm not saying I'm not going to get into who deserved to win or whatever, because you could argue both of them deserved equally to win, because it was a very close fight. But what I think is that the judges in the UFC are very inconsistent, man. They don't follow the
yeah, man.
unified
I'm
rules.
about to get to that.
Yeah, so it's like
That
we
49-46 was atrocious.
we just never know what the criteria is, right? So we had been told that it was the unified rules of MMA, but according to the unified rules, damage trumps everything. Like it's all damage,
Yeah,
right? So if it's all damage, then you have to give round 5 to Erceg, because what even happened in that round? Pantoja hardly landed
yeah.
any strikes, man. He just took him down towards the end. Yeah, took him down, not actually take him down. It was Erceg who initiated the clinch and changed levels. But again, if it's purely
By the
based.
way,
Hmm,
I'm sorry, I'm just cutting you in
hmm,
between. I just have to say this. The takedown that Erceg attempted in round five was just a very stupid move. And I,
absolutely.
I personally think that cost him that round
Absolutely, absolutely.
entirely.
It did, it did. In the eyes of judge, and in the context of like how judges score the fight, yes,
Yeah.
that's absolutely the one that cost him the fight. But again, I just don't understand how what judges see in these fights, what the criteria is, because I get it as per the older rules where takedowns and control time were all prioritized, were given a lot of importance and significance. If you're going by those rules, absolutely Pantoja deserves to win. But if you're going to say that damage trumps everything and effective grappling is the one that helps you the most in terms of scoring, then it has to be Steve Erceg, man. Like it's just very fucked up, and that's why as a fan, it's really hard to confidently say who actually deserved to win, because we just don't know what criteria these judges are following, man.
That's true. But I'll be very honest, man, and I'll say this again. I would love to see a second part to this fight. It was a
Hmm.
great fight, very even fight, and that 49-46 scorecard just disgusts me.
Hmm.
So my point of view is that heading into the final round, I had the fight scored 2-2.
Hmm. Hmm.
First round was obviously Pantoja. Second round was Erceg. Pantoja got a takedown towards the end of the second round, but he didn't do much.
Hmm.
Third round was again Pantoja because he got the takedowns in. And
Yep.
fourth was Erceg because,
Hmm.
again, Erceg started firing in the fourth round. Those jabs were good. He was landing good elbows. So I personally feel it was 2-2 heading into the final round. And first of all, Erceg looked big for the for the flyweight
Yeah,
division.
for
He
sure, man.
looked very big,
Hmm.
right? And I end up feeling that at the same time, that size difference ended up being his disadvantage to him because he looked very slow, very sluggish, very sloppy heading into those takedowns.
Hmm.
So let's be very real. I read a lot about the fight before it happened, and a lot of people on the internet who were talking about MMA in general said that Pantoja is going to be very grappling heavy in this fight, and
Hmm.
Erceg is just a very well-rounded fighter in general. But Steve Erceg really needs to work on his offensive and defensive wrestling.
For
Or
sure.
and if not that, he looked very slow heading into the takedowns. He just needs to move up a
Hmm.
weight class because I think
Yeah.
he will do pretty well in the
He had a
final.
really bad weight cut, by the way. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean you can see that in his face. Even
Yeah.
during the day of the weight cut, his cheeks kind of looked
Yeah.
very
It was
pressed
also
in for
short
some
notice,
reason.
though. It was also short notice, so that's also one
Yeah,
thing. Yeah.
yeah. But I'm not going to complain. It was a good fight, and
Yeah.
I
Absolutely.
think Erceg is definitely going to stir up the division well. I feel the way he's fought, he belongs in the top five or top six of the division. So I'm very excited for Steve Erceg as a prospect. Obviously, former eternal MMA flyweight champion as well.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, Pantoja is arguably one of the best flyweight champions ever.
Mm.
So no harm in losing to a guy like him. That too when it was a 47, 48, 47 fight, man.
Yep.
Yeah, there was nothing bad in that.
Mm.
It was a very close fight, and I'm very excited for Erceg. But what do you think happens for Pantoja from here? I mean, he's defeated Moreno, he's defeated Erceg, another upcoming fighter. Should Pantoja move up a weight class? I don't know if it's really a good decision because it might be a very small bantamweight.
Mm.
So I'm not really sure if that move is going to be right. But what now?
So there's one thing that's very weird about this whole, okay, so firstly, Pantoja has like beaten all of these guys, man. Like, there's only I
Yeah,
think it's only Amir Albazi who's left, but he's the one that
yeah,
he pulled out against Brandon Moreno due to an injury, which is still undisclosed, I believe. We still don't know where he is, what he's doing, and what when he's going to fight next. I think there were rumors about him fighting someone else, but I don't think it's anything is official as of yet. So if he is going to stay at flyweight, then I think Amir Albazi is the only fight that makes sense for him. But if not, I think there's not enough options for this guy, man. Like, he's already beaten all these guys, so maybe a move to bantamweight would
so
be good. But the problem with the bantamweight division is that I don't know if you've noticed, but okay, so there are weight bullies. I'm not gonna say weight bullies, but there are big guys in every division, right? For their respective weight class. You can, we always talked about Alex Pereira being a very big middleweight. Like, he was the biggest middleweight. The thing at bantamweight,
yeah,
when you compare the scenario with what it was 6 years ago, let's say, bantamweights these days are
yes,
like really big, man, really big. They're so big, man. Like,
yeah.
and if you look at Sean O'Malley, like, he's like twice as big as Pantoja, man. Same goes with guys like Chito Vera, Corey Sandhagen. So I just don't know what's next for Pantoja, to be honest.
Yeah, I feel so too because bantamweight is filled with guys who are far bigger for their division and they can easily move up a weight class.
Hmm.
But a very interesting thing which happened probably a few hours ago, Mohammad Mokaev has put up a tweet where he said that he has something in the pipe and something very exciting. So I don't know. I'm assuming it's a championship fight. Maybe, maybe not. But that's pretty much it for Pantoja. And of course, Amir Albazi is ranked third in the division right now.
Hmm.
Sounds like best next possible guy to give Pantoja a run for his money.
Hmm.
But I think it's kind of that weird situation where this could end up being the welterweight division during the Usman
Yep.
run-in, right? Where he was about to lap the division. He was far superior. I mean, Pantoja doesn't look as unbeatable as Usman did, but of course, you
Yeah.
get the point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pantoja has the dog in him. He grinds out his wins. So
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
it's a very weird place that the flyweight division might be in. But let's see. Let's see what happens.